This is your Dr. Srinivas. This video regarding data warehouse, and this video contains definition of data warehouse, benefits, and OLAP and OLTP processing. Before going into this section data warehouse, we will start with small example where we use the warehouse. Right? Let us start. In generally, in our home, we are going to bring the rice, right, for the daily use. We brought some 2 or 3 bags of rice to our home. We are not going to keep the as bags the rice grains. We are going to be stored in somewhere in the some container or some other way. Right, like this, we are having the rice bags. We are going to be store the rice in the container. Right. If we go with the farmers, farmers are going to be producing the rice grains, and they have the so many bags, and they're going to be stored somewhere else in safely, right? Where farmers are going to be putting the rice plants. We're going to get the rice bags by doing some other process. We will see that what the process is going to get the rice bags, and they're going to store all the bags in the safe place is called the some house or some storage area, that is called the warehouse. That means where we are going to be store some kind of things is called the warehouse. Vegetables or fruits or grains, wheat, all this will be stored safely in the warehouse. That is a huge amount of data or a huge amount of grains or things are going to be stored in the warehouse, right? Before going to get the rice grains, what the process of rice processing. We're having the rice plants, we're going to be harvest, then we are going to get some dhanium, we can say that. After that, we're going to do some process of dehusk, that is removing of upper layer of the grain. Then we are going to get some brown rice, or we are having some lines, brown lines on the rice. By doing some process or going to sending to the machine will do the some polishing the rice. That means they are going to be grinding the upper layer, so that it will going to get the polish. Then we will get the white rice from the machine, that is from the mill. After that, they are going to be put the all the rice grains into the bags. Then we are going to get the stack of rice bags. All the rice bags are moved to the warehouse, right? So that in the warehouse, the rice will be stored and dispatched from the that warehouse to some different areas. That is, it is ready to sell to the customers. In the same way, we're having the data processing also, right? In the data processing, we're having the different data formats like Excel format, text format, real data, RDBMS data. Like that, we're having the XML format. Like that, we're having the same data. Suppose I can say that I'm going to consider some college students' data. Some college maintain the students' information in Excel sheet. Some college maintain the students' data in text format. Some college maintain the students' data in RDBMS. Same data. I want to consider that. That means I am having the college with different areas and different data formats are going to be used. I want to know that how many students are there for the first year, second year, third year. So it is difficult to find like that. So I am going to be converting that different sources of data into the single source. right? By converting the different sources to single source, ultimately we are going to get the some noise in that, or some blanks, or some data will be missing. Either we're going to get. After getting the single source, we're going to be eliminating the unwanted data. That means we're having the student's name, student's 10th class marks, inter marks. Like that, we'll have the percentage, student address, all these things. In that, while converting from one format to single format, the entity names will not be similar. So based on that, we'll get the different. So we're going to be matching all those things, and we're going to putting the information in the right place to get the single source. At that time, some student will not be get the address or phone number. At that time, we're going to get the some blanks. If one student is not given anything, just they given the roll number, his name, and his father name, remaining all data is not there, that type of record will be removed. That means they're having in that record we're having the so many null values. So it will not be useful for us to do the analysis. So we are going to be removing that type of such type of records from the data source. That is called the eliminating of unwanted data. After getting that unwanted data, that is called the data. That data is going to be moving to the data warehouse. That is, we are going to store at the some place is called the data warehouse. Defining the data warehouse. Data warehouse, here we have the data warehouse, is a central repository. We're calling it as central repository. Why we are going to call it a central repository means all the different data sets will be available in the data warehouse. That is, here large amount of data will be available in the data warehouse. It is used for reporting and analysis. We're going to be reporting based on this data warehouse data. Directly, we can analyze the data. That means there is no any noise in this data. So, used for the repositing and analysis. Okay, and designed for the storage of large amount of storage. It can use a large amount of storage. We're going to store the large amount of data. If I am doing some business, and the person having the shops in some different locations. Suppose I'm going to be running some software industry. I want to see the employees, how the projects are going on, all these things. Or I am having the industry of the textile industry in India, Western, some countries like India, United States, and United Kingdom. I want to do the analysis. That means by gathering all the information from the India, United States, and UK to maintain a single source. Then only I can do the analysis and generate the report. So we're going to transmitting. This will helps to take the used to support decision making and strategic planning. Based on that information, I can make a decision, and I can take a strategic planning for the further. Data warehouse are different from the operational database in several ways. That means operational database is a different and data warehouse is different. Why the operation database will be considered the day-to-day operations. That is daily we're going to purchasing some items in a shop or in a day wise. First, the data warehouse are typically much larger than the operational database. It is having the huge amount of storage capability while comparing with the operational database. This is because they store the historical data in the data warehouse. There is no longer need for the data to data operations. Second, data warehouse are designed for querying and analysis, while operational database are designed for processing transactions. Third one, the data warehouse are typically stored in a column format. That is, in the Excel sheet like that, we're going to be stored, which makes them more efficient for the querying. That is about the data warehouse. Coming to the some example or coming to the cloud based data warehouse are typically built using a data warehouse applicants or a cloud based data warehouse services. Why we are going to use the cloud? To store more information and manage the managing. What type of applications we're going to be having means software and the hardware. The who is going to be hosted means cloud provider is going to be host the cloud based data warehouse service. How the customer can be accessed means through internet they are going to be accessing the cloud database or cloud based data. You can say that cloud based data. For example, a data warehouse can be used to trace the business details, like trace the sales, revenue over the time, and identifying the business trends and the patterns in customers' behavior. That means by purchasing the daily wise, they are going to purchase some items. Based on that, we're going to be behavior of the customers we can identify or what type of trend it is going on in this winter or summer like that monsoon. Based on that, for the further we can demand that type of patterns. Analyzing the effectiveness of marketing campaigns, make better decisions about the product development and pricing. Coming to the benefits of the data warehouse, improve the decision making. How they're going to be improve the decision making in the business means maintaining the single source of truth for all the data. That is, I already told that for take the decision we need the single source. If we are having the multiple data sets, all the data has to be converted into the single source. This makes it easier for the decision makers to access the data they need to make the information informed decisions. To take the decision, it is very useful. Increases the efficiency. By doing the automation, we can increase the efficiency. This frees up the employees to focus on others, more statistic tasks. Reduce the cost. How we are going to reduce the cost means we are not maintaining the multiple copies, right? We are not maintaining the multiple copies. We are going to be reducing the cost by consolidating the data from the multiple sources into a single location. That is, we are going to be gathering the information and placing in the data warehouse in the single location. This eliminates the need of purchase and maintain the multiple data storage systems. Improve the customer service. Data warehouse can help the businesses improve their customer service by providing the customer service representatives with the easy access to the customer data. By, by giving the customer ID, we will get the all the information. Based on that, we can provide the services to the customer. It will be resolved the and more quickly and efficiently. If you're going to be store the every information of the customer and providing to the representative. Coming to the online transactional processing. What is my online transaction? Online transactional processing means it is a type of data processing that is used to manage the day-to-day business transactions. That means that daily we are going to the supermarket where there we are going to do purchasing, all the customers will purchasing the items. That is called the day-to-day business transaction. It is designed to support the high volumes of concurrent transactions. OLAP systems are typically used for the applicants such as order processing, inventory elements, and customer relationship management. In these areas, we are going to use the OLTP. OLTP system typically stores the data in a relational database. That is, we have some database. In that, the data will be stored in the relational. We have the two tables. The two tables are related. In this table also, we are having the customer ID. In this also, we are having the customer ID. These two are going to be combining to process, right? And designed to provide the fast and efficient access to data. OLAP system typically uses a locking mechanism. While we're doing some transaction on some particular data, we have to lock that to prevent the corruption. So ensure that the transaction is successful, then we can remove the lock so that we can say that the transaction can access a piece of data at a time. So in a single time, we can operate only the one transaction. Next, we have in that OLAP system typically provides a variety of transaction processing functions such as insertion or inserting data, updating data, and deleting data. Insertion means we are going to be adding some records in the student data, new student or new students coming to the second year. That is by writing some exam and they're going to be entering into the second year. Lateral entry, we can say that. The data has to be inserted into the database. That is updation, or that is called the adding the new data. For example, when a new customer placed an order, the order information is inserted into the database. Updating the data. That is, we're having the data, we're going to be changing the existing data in the database. That means we can say that in our class there is a 20 or 30 students. One student is detained in 3-1. Coming to the 3-2, we have to remove that record, or we can change that status of that. That is, we go to updating. Or we can say the example, when a customer changes address their address has to be updated. Delete the data. Delete the data means removing the data from the database. That is, while coming to the new 3-1 to 3-2, the students will be promoted based on their attendance. The attendance is less, he is going to be detained. So detained list has to be updated by removing the that student record from the database in the 3-2 data. Or we can say that, for example, when a customer cancels an order, the order information is deleted from the database, right? Like this, they having the transactional processing functions. By coming to the online analytical processing, is a different from the data processing that is used to analyze the large amount of data, designed to support the complex queries to involve the aggregation, that is combining, or we can say that summation, filtering the data. Unnecessary data is going to be removed, and slicing and dicing of the data. OLAP systems are typically used for the business intelligence and the decision support applications. OLAP systems typically stores data in a multi-dimensional data structure, which allows for the fast and efficient queries. Multi-dimensional means we're going to be store the data in the cubes. The OLAP cubes are commonly used of commonly type of multi-dimensional data structures. A OLTP cube is a three-dimensional data structure that contains measures, dimensions, and hierarchies. Measures are the numerical values that are being analyzed, such as sales or revenue, etc. Are the example for the measures. Dimensions are the categories that the data is grouped by such a product, region, or time. Hierarchies are used to organize the dimensions into the level wise, such as year, quarter, and month. This will become by the some OLAP operations. We're going to get the OLAP operations. Drill up and drill down we're going to be used to get the quarterly, yearly, and monthly. By using this, we're going to get the yearly data will be drilled up, we're going to get the quarterly. Again, we will drill up means we're going to get the monthly wise data of some organization. Now coming to the difference between the OLAP and OLTP, the features OLAP. The features are data structures, data processing, typical applications, scalability, and the cost. In the OLAP, the data is to be stored in the multidimensional, where in the OLTP, relational database. Operational data processing is complex queries, aggregation, filtering, slicing, and dicing. We're coming to here, we're having the high volume of concurrent transactions. Typical operations, business intelligence and decision support, order processing, inventory management, customer relationships management, CRM. Scalability, coming to the scalability, here we have the typical scales up to the petabytes. That is, we are going to be use the store the large amount of data in the OLAP. Here we are going to use up to the terabytes of data will be stored in the OLTP, transactional processing. Coming to the cost of the OLAP, the more expensive than the OLTP, here is the less expensive than the OLAP. That is, here we're going to be maintaining the single source of data, so it is the costless. Here we're going to use the data different ways, relational databases, so it is going to be having the expensive from comparing with the OLAP. This is about the data warehouse benefits and OLAP and OLTP and the differences. I hope that you understand this section. If you understand means like it and share to your friends. It will be useful.